Hey there, and welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast, the show that's all about helping photographers just like you build a thriving business without sacrificing your sanity. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls, a former teacher turned full-time photographer and marketing coach, here to fill your earbuds each week with practical tips, real-life stories, and a whole lot of encouragement. So if you're ready to dive in, let's get to it because this girl means business. Hey friend, welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast as we are diving into part 2 of our Know, Like, and Trust series. Now, if you haven't listened to part 1 where we dive into the know factor, that is key. Know is such a huge piece of the know, like, and trust because it's all about the visibility. It's how are you getting seen by your ideal clients. So make sure you go back and listen to that and then come back here and listen to this episode. Okay, so this week I want to dive into the like factor. Now, I will say this is where I see a lot of photographers will do the like factor pieces, but they don't always give it the full effort that it requires. This is also the step that a lot of photographers will almost expect their clients to just jump over. They want to go straight from knowing to trusting because trusting is where the actual purchase comes in. This middle ground is such a huge part of this process because it is where you build a relationship with your potential clients that is going to help them decide, is this somebody that I feel comfortable working with? Is it somebody that I actually like? Do I have anything in common with this person? Are they going to get me? Because this is where people are making decisions on not just do they like your photos, not just do your prices fit with their budget, but are you somebody they actually want to work with? And so a lot of times what happens is we get the visibility piece in place. We are getting our business in front of our ideal client. They are aware that we exist. And then we're just kind of out there going like, okay, well, when you're ready, you just come let me know. And then we walk away. But I want you to think about an actual in-person relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic relationship, a family relationship. You don't just meet somebody and then say, okay, well, it was nice meeting you. If you're ever ready to get married or have a really committed friendship or make this a long-term relationship, you come back and you let me know. Like, that's not how this works. You have this whole like courting phase where you're getting to know each other, you're creating memories, you are creating these touch points. And that is what the like factor is for your business. It is creating touch points for your potential clients so that they feel like that they have some kind of connection to you outside of just a face on a website or a name on a logo or a pretty picture they've seen on their Instagram feed. And especially these days, and if you've listened to episode 1 of this series where I talk about the know factor, you heard me kind of get on my soapbox about social media. I do think that there is a trend of people kind of moving away from social media, not completely, but just it's changing how they're engaging with social media. And because of that, a lot of people are really craving actual human connection. And this has really been happening since COVID and even a little bit before. I mean, obviously, throughout history, we've always wanted personal connection, but we feel like it's become even more apparent over the last couple of years that people are, one, trending away from social media and isolation. We've come out of the COVID era. And there's just this need and this want for human connection, for actual face-to-face interactions. And so if you are not providing those touch points in your business for your audience, and that can look like several different things that we'll get into in this episode, but you're missing out on a crucial step in going from them knowing who you are to then becoming a client and hopefully a repeat client time and time again. So how can we create these touch points? How can we create these moments where they get to know who we are and they can decide if they like us? And this is not a like us as in like a judgment on who you are as a person, as a human. It's more of a, do we have anything in common? Do we have connection points? And we're doing this all the time in our daily lives with relationships that we build, whether it is the person who does your hair or the dentist that you go to or the doctor that you go to. No matter who we're looking at, we're wanting to see some kind of level of connection, especially when it comes to someone you're going to be spending face-to-face time with, because that's where it's really going to be even more important that you like this person. So I'm going to use my hair lady as an example. When I was looking at somebody to cut my hair, color my hair, do all the things, I live in an area where obviously there's lots of people doing that. And there's people who literally live 5 minutes from me, or that work 5 minutes from me that I could go to. And what I really was looking for was someone that I felt like, if I'm going to go sit in your chair for 2 hours, I want to know that I can have a good conversation with you. I want to know that like we can be friends, that, while we might not hang out outside of the salon, at least for those 2 hours every other month, I know that I have like someone that I am going to be able to relate to. And so I was looking at their online presence. I was looking at, do I know them in real life? Do I know them through certain friends? And the lady that I go to now is a friend of mine. Our kids have gone to school together. They're in different grades, but they go to the same school. We live in the same community. We like a lot of the same things. We read similar books. We watch similar shows. We have things in common. And I liked that I knew that I could go in there. And this happens every time we go in to my appointment. We talk about what books have we been reading? What crazy documentaries have we watched? What shows are our kids watching? What books are our kids watching? What's happening at school with our kids? Like, those are the things that are those touch points that I really like going into that. And there are people that I could go to that are probably closer to where I live or maybe have a different price point, but they aren't somebody that I felt like I had a connection to. And so I know that when it comes to photography, a lot of times we like to think that our work should speak for itself, but that's just not the industry or the world that we live in anymore. People want to connect with people. So let's talk about some different ways that you can create these touch points. So the first thing I want to mention is that when it comes to building connections, it needs to be about who you are as a person. Because honestly, the least exciting thing about you is what you do for a living, that you're a photographer. They are looking at tons of other photographers. That is the least exciting thing about you. What they're looking for in these touch points is, what are the things about you that they can relate to? Now, I'm not saying you have to put your whole life story online, but I want you to think of the things that your potential clients can connect with you on. Okay, so now let's look at the ways you can show up online. Let's start with the idea of pictures and videos and text. And then I'm going to talk about the places you can be sharing these things.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Imagine this. It's a Wednesday morning. You've just finished listening to a podcast episode, maybe even this one, and your head is swirling with so many new ideas for your business. But at the same time, you're feeling a little overwhelmed and confused on what actually you need to be focusing on, or if these new ideas you have are even worthwhile. Now imagine that in the midst of your overwhelming confusion, you can pick up your phone and directly message your personal marketing coach to get clarity, feedback, and inspiration to help you know exactly what's going to keep you on target to grow your unique photography business. Well, the good news is that's exactly what you're going to be able to do very soon inside of my newest offer, The Greenhouse. The Greenhouse is a personalized coaching membership that allows you direct access to me as your marketing coach for your business, along with a community of other photographers there to cheer you on, support you, and be with you every step of the way. Now, if you are just looking for quick fixes, viral hacks, or another online course that you'll probably never finish, then this is not the place for you. But if you are tired of feeling like you're doing everything on your own, you're craving real support, community, and clear direction in your business, then you belong inside the greenhouse. However, the founding member launch is going to be very short window of time and very exclusive. So if this is something that sounds like what you need in your business, I would love for you to join the waitlist so that you get early access along with some exclusive bonuses. So head down to the show notes, click the link, and get signed up. I cannot wait to see you inside the greenhouse when the doors open soon. So the most basic is text, where you tell your story or you talk about things that you that are about you, whether it's your story, your family, your likes, your dislikes, your personality infused into your content. This can be through blog posts, website copy, social media captions, interviews that you do on different other people's websites or podcast interviews. That's more voice, but you get the point, like the text, the wording of it. Those are all ways people can connect with you. So when someone comes to your website and they're wanting to learn more about you and they go to your like about me page, one of the mistakes I see a lot of photographers making is they talk about their photography experience. I've been doing photography for 6 years. I shoot on a Canon Mark IV with a 35 millimeter lens, and I love film, and I enjoy, blah, blah, blah. And then the very last sentence might be, I'm also a mom of 3 kids. So out of that, like, I really haven't learned anything about you. Like, I already knew you were a photographer. I don't know what a Canon Mark IV or a 35 millimeter lens is. I have no idea what that means. That means absolutely diddly squat to me as a consumer. What means something to me is that you're a mom of 3. And I'm also a mom. And one of my fears when it comes to family photography is that my kids are not going to behave and we're not going to get the pictures that I envision in my brain. And that makes me really nervous. But if I know that you're a mom and you've got 3 kids, and I'm going to assume that maybe you understand how kids are, so you're going to be a little more relaxed and forgiving during your session or during our session. That's a touch point. However, it was a poorly done touch point. So on your About Me page, please, please, please do not talk all about photography. Talk about you. Talk about things that you enjoy. If you don't want to share your significant other or your kids, that's fine. But you can at least let people know that you are a mom. Or I know for me, I talk a lot about being a former teacher. That's a huge part of who I am because I'm an educator at heart. And I have a soft spot for educators and teachers and anyone that works in a school district or a school setting. And I have a lot of clients that come to me because of that. I talk about my love of watching reruns of Friends and Schitt's Creek, and that I don't like coffee, but I drink Dr. Pepper on a daily basis, and people will connect with me on those things. Again, the least exciting part about your bio or what you have to say is that you're a photographer. They're not going to connect with you on that. They're going to connect with you on the silly, goofy things that you talk about that are who you are as a person. So share those. Okay, that's the text piece. Now let's talk about the photo piece. If you are using a headshot from 8 years ago and your hair color is now different and you've lost or gained weight, or you were like super tan because you just come back from vacation and normally you're not that tan, or whatever, or now your hair is short and it used to be long, like whatever the case is, please, please, please update your photo. I don't care if you just go and take a really great photo with your iPhone on a clear backdrop, a clean, simple backdrop, or it's a photo you love of you laughing from your last vacation. I don't care. It just needs to be a recent photo of you, because that is the first time they're going to put a face to a name. And you want that face to be the same face they're going to see when they show up for their session. So please make sure it's a recent photo. Another thing with photos, okay, if you have one photo and that's the only photo of you that people can find online, that's also a problem. Because A, that feels very spam-like. It feels very bot-like. And people are sensitive to that these days. People want to know they're not being scammed. People want to know that this is a real person. And I know that seems extreme, especially if you have done a really good job on the visibility piece we talked about in the last episode, and you're actually going face to face and meeting people. That's different. But if someone finds you online and they go to your website, you have one outdated headshot on your About Me page. You have the same photo on your Facebook and the same photo on your Instagram profile photo, or your profile photos are your logo, and the only thing they ever see of your face is that one headshot. It's just going to feel impersonal and like you're trying to hide something. So the more places you can share your face, the better. And if you don't feel comfortable on video, then photos are fine. You just need to share them and share them often. Post a random selfie photo of you in your stories. Add some to your Instagram feed of you actually on a photo shoot. Even if it's not like showing your face, if it's just a behind the scenes that someone took of you in the middle of a session, that's great. But the more you can put photos of you and photos of you in real life, like I said, behind the scenes photos or selfies or in the moment or your own personal family photos you had done or updated headshots, whatever it might be. If you're solely relying on photos, you need to then make sure that you're sharing multiple versions of you through these photos. Now, the third version here is video. And in a world where everybody's consuming short form video, video is a really, really strong touch point for your audience. And there's several ways you can utilize video. A lot of times when I say video, people immediately go towards Instagram Reels, TikTok videos. That's not necessarily what you have to use here. Okay. Some of the best videos I've seen have been where you set up your phone on a tripod in a studio that you're shooting at one day, or in your home office, or in just a cozy little nook in your house, and you record a video of you talking to the screen, saying who you are, a little bit about you, why you're excited to work with them, what kind of families you like to work with or clients you like to work with, what you offer. It doesn't have to be very long, just 1 to 2 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, whatever. Those have a really powerful connection piece because then it feels like a conversation someone's having with you. So instead of them just seeing a face in a photo on your website, if they go to your About Me page and there's a little welcome video of you saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Kendra. I have been doing photography for X amount of years. I'm a former teacher. I love educating people on, how to feel comfortable in front of the camera," or whatever, or I have 2 kids and I totally understand how stressful family photos can be. I want to help make that easier for you. Or just have a conversation. Say what you would say to them in your first meeting with them if they were coming in to meet with you, or you were meeting on a Zoom or a phone call. That's what you say in the video. That is going to make such a huge impact. There are studies and things that have been done that document that video has a much stronger appeal when people are asked, like parasocial relationships. Who do they feel closer to? Someone whose Instagram they follow that just has all these photos of their life, or someone who has videos and photos and text and all the things mixed together? 100% of the time, it's going to be the person who has the video, because then it feels like it's a mutual relationship as opposed to just this like one-sided relationship. So the more video you can put out. Now, where are we putting these touch points? So if someone is aware of who you are and now you're building this relationship with them, you want to have information for them on your website, because if they've come to you and they've said, "Hey, I met this person at this networking event," or "I heard about them through my hairdresser and I want to go look them up," and now they're on your website, what are the touch points? What are the ways they can get to know who you are? It can be through blog posts that you create. It can be your About Me page. It can be videos or text that you share with behind the scenes information or frequently asked questions. It can be on your social media where you're sharing photos, videos, text of all the things that are going on in your business. It can be through email. This is my favorite touch point. Okay. And we haven't talked a lot about email because I know I talk about it a lot. And if you really want to deep dive into email, you can go back into several episodes that I have on here about email marketing. But email is incredibly helpful when it comes to building these touch points because it's like having these little coffee chats with your potential clients. And so you can send them links to blog posts you want them to read, or clips, like embed little quick videos for them to watch, or just type out a welcome message, or share stories from your sessions or from your life. And you build these relationships. And that is where it really, really starts to become about you and them wanting to work with you, not just your photography brand. So the whole idea behind this part of the know, like, and trust factor is that you're not expecting clients to go from, I know who you are, I'm ready to book with you. And you're not getting discouraged when you meet somebody and they don't immediately book with you, because now you have this idea, you have the framing in your mind of they've met me, now they have to get to know me, and then they can trust me and want to work with me. So when someone doesn't book with you right away, you change your mindset from it's not a no, it's a not yet. So now the fun part comes in where we get to build this friendship. We get to build this connection. We get to build this relationship that ultimately can turn into ongoing repeat clients or referrals and things like that. So it's a nurture. You're nurturing that relationship just like you would in any real life connection or friendship that you make outside of your business. The last thing I will say on this particular topic is that within these touch points, one of the questions I get asked a lot is I run out of things to talk about. Like, I don't really know how to keep them engaged. So let's say, for example, that your touch point is email or blogs. And you're like, I feel like I'm saying the same 5 things over and over again. Or even if you're posting on social media, I feel like I'm saying this, I'm running out of ideas. I want you to really think about these touch points as providing as much information as possible. So I want you to think about your own experiences with, let's say, buying something. If you're going to go out tomorrow and you're going to buy a new car, you're probably not going to go walk into a dealership, look at a car, and then immediately go, I want to buy that car. You are probably going to either A, look online first and do research on the different types of cars. You're going to compare the different types of cars. You're going to compare the features. You're going to maybe ask someone you know who has that car, hey, how do you like this car? What do you like about this? What do you not like about it? You're going to do your research, and that research involves collecting information that's going to help you make an informed decision. The same thing applies to your potential clients. They are looking to collect information and do research on what is the best fit for them. And so the more information you can provide them about your process, your packages, how your offers work, how your pricing is structured, all of that information can help them feel like they are making a more informed decision. One of my biggest pet peeves in the photography space is gatekeeping. And what I mean by that is not gatekeeping like photographer to photographer, that's one too, but in this case, I'm talking about photographer to client. It is keeping your pricing, off your website so that they have to reach out to you. And then you give them all this other information before you would give them their price. Okay. Well, that's gatekeeping, and that's not helping your client make an informed decision. It is saying, well, I will give them all of that information once they book with me. Okay. Well, how do they know they're ready to book with you if they don't have the information up front? There are some people out there who are impulse buyers, and that's great. And they may come in and they may say, hey, I'm ready. Let's, here's my information. Let's book it. Let's do it. And then they'll get the information later. But the majority of people, especially if you're asking them to invest several $100s on your services, maybe even multiple times a year, they're going to want to know up front all the information before they make that decision. So the more information you can give them, the more questions you can answer ahead of time for them, the more likely they are to go, this person is willing to give me all the information I need. I feel completely comfortable. I know that I like them. I like their personality because I've been, having these touch points with them through these conversations in email or on the blog or all the places. And now I'm ready to move into the trust phase. But it all comes down to, what are you doing in those touch points to make them feel like they are able to now make an informed decision and move into the next phase? Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode. That was the like factor of the know, like, and trust factor. Now, one thing I want to say is I did keep this episode a little bit vague, a little higher level, because I wanted it to be more of just an overview. And then I want you to start really having those wheels spin in your brain of all the different ways that you can start creating touch points. I didn't want to give you a specific, like, do X, Y, and Z, because there are no specific paths for you to follow. It is very free flowing, and there may be multiple places that your clientele are going to find these touch points. So you're going to have to kind of create that part of it on your own. But I wanted to give you some of the little pieces of it that you can then branch off of and kind of run with in your own way. As always, if you have thoughts, ideas, or questions about this episode or want to dive deeper, please feel free to reach out to me via email at kendra@girlmeansbusiness.com or on any of my social accounts. I love having conversations with my listeners, so please, please, please reach out if you have anything you want to talk about. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait to round out our series next week, back here at the same time, same place.